Hey, this is Notser, and today we're taking a look at the Tier 8 Premium Soviet Battleship, Lenin. My build is on the screen. It is a tanky build. So I've got fire prevention. I go manual AA for my tanky build because there's too many aircraft carriers in this game. And it's the Lenin. You have horrendous AA inside of 1 kilometer. You have 0. So if the aircraft carrier somehow gets within 1 kilometer of you, he can do whatever he wants because you can't actually affect him at all. Maybe with a fighter, but good luck with that. This game, though, we're hoping to have a lot of success because the one aircraft carrier that is our opponent is a Tier 6. So we've got to take advantage of it. Yeah, it's an ideal scenario. We're top tier, and it's a Tier 6 aircraft carrier. But I wanted to share the game either way. It's a great experience, and hopefully the build and the play style is transferable to anyone who's looking to improve with their Lenin or trying to find some direction. I know there's a lot of people out there when this stuff comes out, and even trying to understand what the Lenin's wanting to do. It's also important to see it from the opponent's standpoint so that they can work against it. So I spawned near the center, and I moved with my friend who has the Vladivostok. Must be nice. Wouldn't know what that's like. I've had terrible RNG luck with the containers, and it continues. I don't have the Vladivostok, so I can't directly compare. But what I do know, on live client, what I do know, they both have terrible AA. So both of us appreciate this matchup. And the enemy seemingly is pushing very extensively on this flank, and I do not want to continue moving forward on this flank. Now, we were spotted, but we aren't spotted in this precise position. So that leads us to believe that there is a DD that's out wide, and this island was blocking me sufficiently from the angle that the DD took. We also pinged out to the friendly aircraft carrier, which, good luck to him. If you're a Tier 6 aircraft carrier going up against a bunch of Tier 8s, you might as well just be a scout. Because at the beginning of the game, you're never going to get the angle to engage without, overstacking. Look at how many ships on the enemy team are all grouped up. There's like 3, 4, 5, 6. They're all within one little square. Of course their AA is ridiculous, so we're not going to get a lot of help out here. And our DD, unfortunately, went through the center where most of the enemy is not. So there's a lot of targets that could be spotted and I could fire on, but no one's in position to take advantage of it. But we're gonna fix that. So enemy Cleveland, yeah. Friendly Vladivostok with his beautiful camouflage. I love the nationalistic camos that they've got. The French, the American, obviously the Soviet. I can't wait to see all the other factions. I think they'll be great. But I don't have the Vladivostok, so I can't enjoy it. And, oh great, torpedoes. Just what I always wanted. So I'm going to try and angle back. I really don't want to take torpedoes. And thankfully, the torpedoes didn't have the range, but they did nick the friendly Vladivostok, rootin' tootin' Vladimir Putin. And I really just want to see a target. The enemy Mahan seemingly dropped smoke for his team, and there's probably 2, 3, 4 targets inside of that smoke. And ooh, enemy Cleveland spotted. We're not going to pass this up. Aim at the waterline, looking for those citadels. He clearly is going to back up, but is it going to be too late? Well, he's still alive, but he felt that. And he's going to probably drop off detection, back away behind the island, and disappear for the rest of the game. And, the frustration continues. There's just no possibility of spotting between my teammates' positioning, the friendly DD. That's not a good spot. Even if he were to move forward and spot them, they would all just turn their guns and kill him because he's in a position where he can't possibly run away. I do believe he's trying to use hydro through the island, but wouldn't it be better if he was just on our side and he was using hydro through the island? Hindsight is one of the worst things that you can get yourself into. And ooh, maybe this Pensacola is going to regret his life choices, hopefully. Of course not. Of course we don't citadel him. We do tons of damage. Of course the friendly overpins as well. I'm sure Rutan was just loving that. And the Pensacola, whoop, gotta drop off. Can't be seen. Way too dangerous. And yes, I know I'm taking damage, but I'm trying to bait some battleships to fire their guns so they're revealed in their smoke. I can take it. I've got good angle. I'm mitigating it rather well, I think. Yeah, I'm basically the only person taking damage, but it's opening up the possibility for the enemy to take damage as they fire. Because there's a significant amount of smoke. Remember, that's the American smoke. And I was looking, oh, don't have much room to maneuver. Yes, we don't. If the enemy DD happened to come this way, well, guess what? We couldn't really do much, but we do get confirmation that he is still over by his team, so I can continue to be aggressive. One of the things with the Soviet battleships that you have to get used to is allowing fire to burn and reducing that through the duration modules and consumable and commander skills that you have equipped. And oh, I should have pulled the trigger on that Pensacola. He's so low, and friendly Vladivostok, he's got a couple torpedoes in the nose, unfortunately, and oh, 5, 4, 3, 2. Are you kidding me? Drops off right as I'm reloaded. I could try to make, and of course he shows right back up after the reload is done. Yep. I maybe pulled the trigger blind. I was afraid that I would just slam it into the island because there was more than a second or two between him dropping off and pulling it. Gosh, the enemy, they are so grouped up. Why are they grouped up this much? It's a tier 6 aircraft carrier, guys. A single tier 8 could probably defend himself from a tier 6 aircraft carrier. And yet there is 4 or 5 enemy ships? What's the deal, guys? Oh, and we miss a little bit with our location. Need to elevate the gun slightly. We're doing okay, though, where we've honestly weathered the storm. 1.35 fired at us, and that was the mistake. We have just a little too much angle to the Amagi, just a little too flat, and he citadel-less. That was one citadel for sure. Without a doubt, I believe that's a citadel, so I'm going to try and address that by making the angle more harsh to the Amagi, making sure that he is defeated before we move on to any other ship. And we do a little bit of damage. There are torpedoes spotted, but they're not going to have the range to get to us. I mean, we've seen that the Mayhem doesn't have the range, so I'm not too worried. I feel very confident in this position because we're just trying to bog down the primary flank of the enemy. Note our teammates, though. A lot of them are trying to assist in the most passive way possible. They're all the way at the back of the map. There's no way they actually can fire in any effective way. And yet, there are plenty of enemies who are right on our doorstep who would easily be prime targets for the friendlies to fire at, and yet don't really think they're doing that. You know, there's so much lemming trains. And there's lemming trains out of ignorance, more so than anything. There's no reason to do a lemming train here, other than, everyone's going this way, I might as well too. Yeah, well, you might as well get blapped out of existence, because one by one, we're going to work through the enemy's grouped up position. And if we had, maybe another DD, if there was 2 DDs instead of 1, or the friendly DD chose to go out wide so he could torpedo the enemies from an angle, that position would have been null and void. But there's not enough DDs that punish grouping up, partially because they can't. How are they supposed to get in position with an aircraft carrier? This is a very rare game where the aircraft carrier is the weakest link on the enemy team. Usually, they're at least equal to the top tier. We can look at this flank and say to ourselves, well, I would say we have stopped it, but it looks like the enemy had no opposition on the other side, so we have to kind of work our way over there. Plus, obviously, the Bismarck, who was sort of, I don't know that he was bow tanking, he was basically angled on so I could fire broadside. Either way, he's left this flank and he's going to the other, so obviously I'm going to leave this flank and go to the other. I've got to counter the move. I would love to kill the Pensacola, but he's doing a great job of keeping islands in between himself. Friendly aircraft carrier can't get to him, or maybe he's not a focus. I don't know. If you are an aircraft carrier, though, go after the targets that are super low. Like, for real. Teammates would love you. And we got this enemy, Queen Elizabeth, moving forward, so I give enough lead Plenty of lead. Massive damage. Enemy battleship knocked out. We've got an enemy cruiser in the center of the map, plus this Bismarck. What is this Bismarck? Does he think like just flat angle, run into the island and back up is the way to go? This is the second time he has run into an island and is backing up broadside. I'll take it. I don't know why he's doing it. Looks like we'll get a pretty good accurate shot there. Of course, Pensacola, just teasing me, aren't you, Pensacola? Every single time I fire my gun, he shows back up. And I get to watch as his 800 life just laughs at me and mocks me. This enemy Atlanta, he's going to go down. I'm not afraid of him at all. I was considering, do I need to even traverse my guns? Are my teammates having that much of an issue? And yeah, they are. And he is trying to back up into the island. And I fire behind him a little too much. Fire forward of his position. Set him up for a 2K salvo from someone. And, you know, you would think to yourself, man, we're just dominating this game. No, we're not. Because teammates are teammates. They make stupid choices. So we have to compensate for the lack of awareness or focus fire or whatever. Finally, the Atlanta goes down. Good job, teammates. The enemy DD is still alive. He's still a massive threat. And, ooh, hello, French cruiser. Show too much side, and maybe that Citadel would work out in my favor. You know, knock you out. Or, you know, the shells could completely disperse all around your ship, creating a waterfall of sprinkle and rain all over it, but not on the ship itself, you know. We just want to let you feel the danger, not actually experience it. And the Bismarck moving forward, he's not going to be an issue at all. Tier 6 aircraft carrier, I'm not worried at all. My AA is more than adequate to defend myself and teammates. We're firing at the guns. And just so you understand the thought process, when enemy is moving towards you, they're gaining enough distance that if you were to fire at a position on their ship, it would then transition a couple meters back because obviously their momentum's carrying them forward. Now, I love to fire at the number 2 gun on most battleships that's just in front, and finally, the enemy Pensacola is dead. And ooh, wait 1 second. Finish the thought after this. We've got that Le Galizonaire. Broadside. See you later. Thank you very much. So yeah, when you're firing on a battleship moving towards you, I like to fire on the number 2 gun just in front of the superstructure, because if you aim basically at it as their momentum carries them forward, you're going to have the shells go directly in the superstructure. And that's exactly what happened with the Bismarck. And that's a good aim point, and of course, I run into the island because I wanted to get enough angle to fire all my guns. I didn't trust. Would you trust that last salvo on the French cruiser where it dispersed all around it? No, you're going to use all your guns to cover up that bad accuracy. And oh, of course, the enemy DD shows right back up. The Ranger could easily finish him off, although I don't know that he is. He's losing too many aircraft. Yeah. He only had 1 dive bomb left, and unfortunately that dive bomb did not land it on the enemy DD, and I'm going to have to deal with this. I don't have a fighter up, and we have an enemy AP bomb on approach, so I'm not exactly thrilled about this. There could be torpedoes in the water, there could be a Fiji. I'm just hoping that maybe if I put myself out there, the enemy will fire and they'll reveal themselves. And ooh, friendly aircraft carrier spotted the Fiji, perfectly broadside to my position. This is an easy blap Citadel. Yeah, so easy. Love that 5 overpen. Friendly Ranger finishes off, and of course the next time the enemy DD is spotted, he's on the other side of the island. He covered that whole distance where I could have easily killed him without being spotted, and then the only time he's spotted, he's behind something. But our guns are reloading. I'm going to try and take a shot at this guy in the smoke. Looks pretty good. But the friendly Ranger is able to take out the enemy target, and now all that's left is the enemy aircraft carrier, and I believe I speak for every single Lenin player, Vladivostok player, Sinop player. I hate aircraft carriers. That 1 kilometer dead zone really sucks. And the fighter consumable is not good enough for that 1 kilometer dead zone. So this is kind of personal. I know this guy hasn't, he hasn't done any harm to me. But, oh, you watch my review. Every game, double tier 8 CV or tier 10. I think I'm going to be channeling my inner Lenin Battleship games. This feels so good to one-shot a CV in this ship because they have just run rampant over it. I'm sure many of you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's the most glaring weakness of the ship. And we weren't weak this game. 5 kills, 2,360 base XP, a ton of achievements. It was really satisfying to hold the flank, tank all that damage, and then move forward and just kill all of the enemy ships that remained. What can I say? It can be awesome. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. If you would like to check out more of my content, you can click the most recent and the most relevant uploads. You can also subscribe, where I do daily World of Warship videos on how-to, first impressions, and just general news. I stream at twitch.tv/Notser. Thank you, have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you next time.